Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. So, hope y'all are staying warm. We actually had more snow in Tennessee. So, welcome to the grand solar minimum here, I guess. It's been good and cold so far in January. So, today I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about where we can see things going and what you need to be stocking up on now and why things are happening the way they are. Okay. So, a couple of you guys have sent me emails, made comments about lockdowns and shutdowns in other places of the world. Just got a comment here a little bit ago that somebody up in Ontario, Canada, they're now on 30-day shutdowns. We all know what's going on in England, in Australia, et cetera there. We've also seen all the political turmoil here around the world in the last few days with Angela Merkel stepping down, Putin trying to change everything in the way of how the Russian government works, et cetera. So a lot of strange things that way. But I'm not going to get into the politics on this. I want to stay with the economics. I kind of like to stay with the kitchen table issues that we all face because we can't control the rest of it, okay? But we can control how we react to it. So the one key thing that I noticed here over the weekend, if anybody's seen it, is what's going on in China, all right? And I guess they've got some 28 million people under lockdown right now. Now, if you think of the percentage of that 28 million people in China, where they got about 1.4 billion or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what, but I mean, it's not a high percentage, but still 28 million people is a lot of people. Okay. But if they're seeing more lockdowns, then obviously something's going on. All right. And we've been talking about shortages here for the last few days. And so I kind of did a little bit of research and again, put on my finance hat because I mean, this is what affects all of us, okay? What are the costs of things, all right? So I kind of looked at what the commodities market, the futures market was for different staples, okay? And if y'all remember the old movie Trading Places where they were doing frozen concentrated orange juice and stuff like that, and I didn't, nothing silly like this. That's not what we're doing. I just kind of looked at what the spot prices of commodities were last January versus what they are this January. And it was kind of interesting what I came up with. And I think you might want to hear this one. All right. So, let's start with a staple for preppers. Okay. Wheat, flour. All right. Wheat prices. They are up 37% since last January. All right. And we've kind of seen some of this on the store shelves. Oats, oatmeal, whatever is oat milk, you name it, up 34%. Okay, again, a third. Corn is up 67%. Now, I'll give some of this because the Midwest got wiped out last year with the derecho, and that really whacked the corn harvest. So again, supply and demand is going to tell us that prices are going to go up. So all right, I'll give that. But let's split this down the middle. Let's say half of the 67% is from the derecho and half of it is from the open market. So ballparking still in the 30%. Sugar up 30%. Okay. Soybeans, again, derecho, 57%. So you're getting the idea. We're seeing, a 30% to 67% increase in commodities prices, 1/3 more expensive than what we're paying for each year. Now, here's the interesting one. Rice. Now, since 2017, the United States has been a net exporter of rice to China. China's still the biggest producer in the world of rice, but for the last 3 years, we've actually been producing rice and sending it to China. Want to guess how much the price of rice went up? 13%. Okay. Here's another one. Beef. Okay. Now, we all know the beef prices are going up. We can't, God knows I've seen it, okay? And it's hard to find beef sometimes. Beef isn't going up because there's a lack of it. Beef is going up because it can't be processed, all right? And I mean, if you live out in the country or anything like that, talk to anybody who raises cattle, processors are already booking slaughter into spring of 2022. Okay, so it's not a matter of a lack of cattle, it's a matter of not being able to process it for market. Okay. How about this one? In October 2020, okay, we exported to China 6,831 metric tons of beef in 1 month. That's a 219% increase over 2019 in October, okay? Guess how much beef went up? 10%. Now, don't you find it very strange, because at least I do, that the staples that we eat and we can get are going up by 1/3, where the stuff that we not primarily, because I mean, obviously we keep the most of our beef, but the stuff that we're sending to China, the price hasn't gone up, okay? Pork. Pork has gone up 30%. All right, now, there was an issue with the whole European swine flu or whatever it was going on with the pork. Pork has gone up 30%. Even then, we still sent China in 2020 665,000 tons of pork. Okay. I'm finding it very interesting that all these prices of everything are going up. We know it, okay? And this is just what they've gone up in the last year. Can we figure that it's going to do it again? Yeah, so plan on paying 1/3 more for groceries at the end of 2021 as you are in 2020, or as you are now. But why aren't the prices going up as much on the stuff that we're exporting to China? What's going on there? What sort of deals do we have in place? Okay, it's very interesting. Because here's the other side of it. At the top here, I mentioned how many people in lockdown in China. Okay. Food prices right now, because of their lockdowns, have tripled in China. 3 times, tripled. Okay. So what was $1 is now $3, right? If we're only charging 10% more than we were last year, why are the people over there paying 3 times as much? Where's the money going, guys? All right. Again, you're starting to see some of this. Start putting A, B, and C together. A lot of you have commented, everybody's pretty much seen the story, that, Bill Gates is now the biggest farmland owner in the United States. Why in the hell would a guy who is a technology mogul, or who was at least, need to buy farmland? What the hell does Bill Gates know about running a farm? Nothing, okay? Bill Gates wants to control the food supply, okay? And we're also seeing the food supply being taken over a little bit by other countries. Our food prices, the food we're producing here, we're paying more for, so we can now subsidize the rest of the world. At the same time, we're going through, a bad economic time. Let's put it this way. Okay, so think about this. What do you need to do? A couple of people have asked this. What should I be doing? All right, we all know, stack it to the rafters, okay? But what should you be stacking? Now, flour isn't that overly expensive. Rice isn't that overly expensive. Beans aren't that overly expensive. Corn isn't that overly expensive. But if now it goes up another 1/3 in price, and now all of a sudden you're paying $1 a pound for flour, what happens then? Well, that means your loaf of bread gets more. Oh, I don't know, your bakery that you buy gets more. I mean, silly one. We went to Dunkin' Donuts. Finally found a Dunkin' Donuts near me. It's an hour away, but we found the first Dunkin' Donut I've had in 2 years. Was floored when it was a dozen donuts was $12. Okay? 65 cents, 70 cents is what I was remembered before. Now all of a sudden donuts are $1 a piece. Why? Flour costs. Okay? Expect to see a lot more of that. I mean, I guarantee that next to nobody who's watching this, their paycheck went up 30% last year, but your food costs did. All right. So before this starts getting crazy, maybe you backtrack to beginning prepping 101 and get some more rice, get some more beans, get some more flour, get some cracked corn. Okay. If you got a mill to, make flour out of your corn, that would probably be a good deal. If you don't know, you can go buy corn at a feed store, right? The same corn that you're feeding a horse, okay, is fine for you. Just run it through a mill, grind it up into a flour, and now you can make tortillas or whatever you need to be. 50-pound bag of corn probably cost you, I don't know, when I bought one, it was $12 or something like that. It wasn't ridiculously expensive. So if it's gone up 67%, maybe it's $20 for 50 pounds of corn now. But those are things that you want to look at. Maybe for a while you go back to prepping 101 and buy the very bare bones basics, because that stuff seems to be going up in price more than the meat products, which we're all used to prepping. So I wanted to give you that one. It's not something that we normally think about to go get, but maybe a mill to grind your wheat, grind your corn, grind whatever, grains you can get, because those aren't cheap. Those will cost you 60, 70, 80 bucks for a good one, all right? And, start getting some more grain, because you can grow your vegetables, and, there's probably somebody around, depending on where you are, that maybe you can get some meat from if they've got cattle, pigs, chickens, whatever it would be. Things like grain, we don't, Joe Average here, we don't plant wheat out in our backyard garden. And certainly if you did, it's not enough that you're going to be able to get enough of it to make what you need, okay? Corn, obviously, if you're doing hard corn, then yeah, you can. But start looking at something like that. And I wanted to give you the commodities prices right now and what actually is happening and where the money's going. The money's going, again, into the elite's hand. Like I said, 300% increase in food in China, but only a 10% increase in cost on getting the food that we're selling them. So the CCP is inevitably pocketing a lot of that money. Just food for thought, guys, but I want you to think about that one. Have a good Sunday. Pinball out.